Leo, I need to tell you about something I did last week, and I'm still a little annoyed with myself.
Ooh, go on.
So I was with a group of people, and someone said something I completely disagreed with. Completely. I had a whole different opinion sitting right there in my head, ready to go. And do you know what came out of my mouth?
Please tell me it wasn't.
Yeah, totally. Good point.
Oh no, the betrayal. Your own mouth betrayed you.
My own mouth. And then, this is the worst part. I went home, made a cup of tea, and had the entire argument in my head, brilliantly, with perfect English. 2 hours too late, alone in my kitchen, winning a debate that nobody could hear.
The kitchen debate championship. I have won so many of those. Undefeated. 0 witnesses.
Undefeated in the kitchen. And here's the thing, it's not that I didn't have the words. I know the word disagree. I could say, I disagree. But it felt so hard, so blunt, like slamming a door in someone's face.
So you said nothing and the door stayed closed anyway, just from the other side. And that's exactly what we're fixing today. Hi everyone, I'm Leo.
And I'm Mia. Welcome to Perspective Peak. Today, we're learning how to disagree politely in English, how to say what you really think kindly without sounding rude and without swallowing your own opinion.
And this matters so much because disagreeing is one of the hardest things to do in a second language. In your own language, you have 100 soft, careful ways to say, I see it differently. But in English, learners often feel stuck between 2 bad options. Say nothing at all, or say something that comes out much harder than you meant. This is exactly what Perspective Peak is here for, growing your confidence and your English together.
And don't worry about the English today, friends. This is friendly B1 level. Clear sentences, simple words, spoken at a comfortable speed. Every time we use a stronger word, we'll stop and explain it right away. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be here. So let's start at the very beginning, Leo. Why is disagreeing so uncomfortable? Because it's just words, right? Nobody gets hurt.
Right? It should be easy. But here's my favorite way to think about it. Imagine 2 people carrying a big table together, one at each end. You're both holding it, walking in the same direction, it's balanced. That's a normal, friendly conversation. Now imagine one person suddenly lets go of their end and pushes it the other way. What happens?
The table crashes and probably lands on someone's foot.
Someone's foot every time. And that's what a hard, no, you're wrong feels like, a sudden drop. But here's what polite disagreement actually is. It's not letting go of the table. It's saying, wait, can we turn it slightly this way instead? You're both holding it. You're still walking together. You just want to change direction a little.
Oh, so polite disagreement isn't about being softer with your opinion. It's about not dropping the table?
Exactly that. Your opinion can be completely strong. You can be 100% sure. The politeness isn't in weakening what you think. It's in how you hand it over. And here's the key idea for today, and it's a freeing one. You are allowed to disagree fully with anyone. You just need 3 or 4 small phrases that keep the table steady while you say it. That's it. That's the whole skill.
Beautiful. Okay, let me tell everyone what happens when you don't have those phrases. My quiet year.
Your quiet year? That sounds ominous.
It was. So there was a period where I was in a lot of English-speaking meetings, and I basically became a nodding machine. Someone would say something, and I'd go, this little polite nod. Yeah. I nodded so much, I think I strained my neck.
A workplace injury caused entirely by agreeing.
Purely from agreement. And I told myself a very nice story about it. I said, I'm being polite. I'm being respectful. I'm keeping the peace. But here's the science, and it really shook me. Researchers who study teams and groups have found that when people stay silent instead of raising a different view, the group actually makes worse decisions, not because the quiet person is unimportant, but because the group ends up hearing only one side, and everybody assumes everybody agrees.
Oh, so your silence didn't just cost you, it cost the whole room?
That's exactly what hit me. I thought I was being generous by staying quiet, but actually I was taking something away, my perspective, which nobody else in that room had. Silence feels like kindness, but often it's just fear wearing a very polite coat.
Ooh, fear wearing a polite coat. That's uncomfortably accurate.
I said it about myself, so I'm allowed. And there's a second cost, which is more personal. Every time you swallow an opinion, you get a little quieter inside. You start to believe your view isn't worth the trouble, and that's a sad thing to teach yourself.
And I imagine it compounds, right? The longer you stay quiet, the harder it gets to start speaking.
Exactly, because now there's a pattern. Now everyone in the room expects you to agree, so speaking up feels like breaking a rule you accidentally made. That's why starting small matters so much. One gentle disagreement early is 100 times easier than one after a year of nodding. So the lesson is, staying silent isn't politeness, it's a decision, and it has a price. Your view is part of the conversation, and the room is missing something without it. For learners, this is important. You're not being difficult when you disagree. You're participating.
So good. Okay, my turn. And my story is about the opposite mistake. The time I disagreed too well.
Too well? How do you disagree too well?
So I had learned one phrase, and I was very proud of it. The phrase was, "Actually, that's not right." And I thought it sounded confident, educated, clear.
Oh no, Leo, that's a bulldozer.
It was a bulldozer with a smile on it. And I used it on a colleague, cheerfully, and I watched his whole face change. He went from open and friendly to closed and defensive in about half a second. And after that, he never really asked my opinion again.
Oh, and you probably didn't even know why.
I had no idea. I thought I'd been helpful. And here's the science. And once I understood it, everything made sense. Researchers have found that when people feel their idea is being attacked, they don't examine it more carefully, they defend it harder. The disagreement actually makes them believe their original idea more strongly. It's the exact opposite of what you wanted.
Wait, so pushing hard against someone's opinion makes them hold it tighter?
Tighter. It's like pushing on a door that opens toward you. The harder you push, the more it stays shut. And here's the fix, and it's beautifully small. There's a difference between attacking the person and questioning the idea. "That's not right" points at you. But, I see that differently points at the idea. Same disagreement, completely different landing.
So you moved the target off the person and onto the thought.
Off the person, onto the thought. That's the whole move. The lesson is, how you disagree decides whether the other person listens or defends. Aim at the idea, never the person, and suddenly people can actually hear you. For learners, this is such a relief. You don't need perfect English to disagree well. You just need to point at the idea instead of the human.
So good. And quick pause because I want to tell everyone where we're going, because in a few minutes, we're going to talk about the hardest disagreement of all. What to do when the other person is your boss, your teacher, or someone older than you. Because that's where most learners freeze completely. And there's a small, brilliant trick in English that makes it safe. So stay with us.
Ooh, the boss one. Everyone needs that. But first, can we talk about the single most dangerous word in the entire English language?
Dangerous word? Now I'm nervous. Which one?
But.
But? It's 3 letters.
3 letters, enormous power. So here's a scenario. Someone shows you their plan and asks what you think, and you say, "It's a really good idea, but I think there's a problem." Now, what did they actually hear?
They heard there's a problem. The really good idea part just evaporated.
Gone, completely gone. And there's a lovely bit of science here. Researchers who study language have found that but acts like an eraser. It quietly cancels whatever came before it. Your brain hears but and treats the first half as decoration and the second half as the real message.
So every compliment I've ever put before a but was deleted on arrival?
Deleted on arrival, every single one. But here's the beautiful fix, and it's just one word. Replace but with however. Or even simpler, split it into 2 sentences. Listen to the difference. Version 1, it's a good idea, but I see a problem. Version 2, it's a really good idea. However, I do have one question.
Oh, that's so much softer. Why does that work?
Because however doesn't erase, it adds. It says, here's another thing to consider, not forget what I just said. The compliment survives. And splitting it into 2 sentences gives the good part a moment to land before you add the second part. It's such a tiny change, and it changes everything. The lesson is, watch your butts. One small word can quietly delete every kind thing you said. Use however, or just take a breath and start a new sentence. For learners, this is a 5-second fix that instantly makes your English sound more thoughtful and more diplomatic.
Watch your butts. I'm sorry, I had to.
You had to. It was right there.
It was right there, and I am only human. Okay, now the big one you promised. Disagreeing with a boss, a teacher, someone above you.
The scary one.
The genuinely scary one. So here's the scenario. Your manager suggests something, and you can see a real problem with it. But this person decides your schedule, your work, maybe your future, and every polite phrase you know suddenly feels either too weak or too rude. So most learners do nothing.
And then have the kitchen debate later.
Straight to the kitchen, undefeated. So here's the trick, and English does this beautifully. It's called hedging. That's our stronger word, and it just means adding soft little words that lower the pressure of what you're saying. Not changing your opinion, just wrapping it in something soft.
Oh, give me examples. What does a hedge sound like?
Little phrases like, I might be missing something, but I'm not sure I'm seeing the whole picture. Would it be worth considering? Do you think there's a chance that... Notice every single one of those still delivers your full disagreement, but they arrive as a question rather than a correction.
Oh, so you're not weakening your point, you're just knocking before you enter.
Knocking before you enter. That's it exactly. And here's the science, and I find it genuinely comforting. Researchers have found that when someone hears a hedged disagreement, a soft, questioning one, they're far more likely to actually think about it. But a direct correction, especially from someone below them, triggers a defensive reaction almost automatically. So hedging isn't you being weak or scared. Hedging is you being effective.
And I love that these phrases give you an escape route, too. If it turns out you were missing something, you haven't lost anything. You literally said, I might be missing something.
Yes, it's a built-in parachute. You've said your piece, and if the answer is good, you just say, that makes sense, thank you. And everyone's happy. Nobody had to be wrong.
So the soft version isn't the cowardly version, it's the version that actually works.
The version that actually works. And I want every learner to hear this, because I know the feeling of thinking, I sound so unsure, so hesitant. You're not being unsure, you're being skilled. The lesson is, when you disagree with someone above you, soften the delivery, never the opinion. Use hedging phrases to turn a correction into a question and watch how much more often people say, actually, good point.
So good, Mia. Okay, my last one. And this is my favorite because it took me the longest to learn. What to do when you're never going to agree.
Ooh, the unwinnable one.
The unwinnable one. So here's my scenario. I had a friend, lovely person, and we disagreed about something completely. And I decided, in my infinite wisdom, that I was going to convince him. So I brought facts, I brought examples, I am not exaggerating, a small amount of research.
You brought research to a friendship.
I brought research to a friendship, Mia. I built a case like a lawyer. And do you know what happened after all of that?
Let me guess. He agreed completely, thanked you warmly, and named a child after you.
He did not. He believed the exact same thing as before, but now he was also slightly annoyed with me. So I achieved nothing except making the evening worse.
That's such a familiar feeling. The victory that isn't a victory.
And here's the science, and it changed how I talk to people. Researchers have found that facts alone very rarely change a strongly held opinion, because those opinions usually aren't built on facts in the first place. They're built on experience, on values, on identity. So bringing more facts is like bringing a ladder to cross a river. Excellent tool, completely wrong problem.
A ladder to cross a river. That's exactly what it feels like.
And here's what I learned to say instead, and it's such a relief. There's a beautiful phrase, to agree to disagree. It means both people accept that they see it differently, and they stop fighting about it. You know what? I think we'll have to agree to disagree on this one. And there's another lovely one, to see eye to eye, which means to fully agree with someone. So you can say, we don't quite see eye to eye on this, and honestly, that's fine.
And that's not giving up.
That's the thing, it's not. Giving up is pretending you agree. This is the opposite. You're saying, my view stands, your view stands, and our friendship is bigger than this. The lesson is, not every disagreement needs a winner. Sometimes the most confident, most grown-up thing you can say is, we see this differently, and then go get dessert. For learners, these two phrases are pure gold because they let you end a difficult conversation warmly instead of awkwardly.
And then go get dessert, the strongest possible ending. Okay, peak performers, let's turn all of this into something you can actually use. Our step-by-step action plan. 4 steps to disagree politely in English. Leo, step 1.
Step 1. Buy yourself 2 seconds with a soft opener. Here's what to do. Before you say your actual disagreement, start with one small phrase that gives you time and keeps things warm. That's an interesting way to look at it. Or, can I offer another angle? Or, that's a fair point. Can I add something? Why does this work? Because the first moment of a disagreement is the most dangerous moment. A soft opener signals, I'm still holding the table with you, so the other person doesn't go defensive before you've even started. For example, instead of jumping straight in with no, try, that's an interesting way to look at it. A common mistake is leading with your objection immediately, which lands like a slap. Give it 2 seconds of runway.
So practical. Step 2. Say one true thing first, and mean it. Here's what to do. Find something in their point that you genuinely agree with, and say that part out loud before you add your own view. Why does this work? Because people can only really hear you once they feel heard themselves. And notice, this only works if it's honest. A fake compliment is worse than none. For example, you're right that we're short on time. That's a real problem. Then add your view. A common mistake is inventing praise you don't believe. People can hear the difference immediately. Find the part that's actually true, however small, and start there.
Step 3. Replace but with however, or with a full stop. Here's what to do. Catch yourself before that little 3-letter word and swap it. Either use however or simply end the sentence and start a new one. Why does this work? Because but erases everything before it, while however adds to it. The kind thing you just said actually survives. For example, instead of "that's good, but it won't work," try "that's a good idea, however, I'm wondering about the timing." A common mistake is thinking this is too small to matter. It's the single highest value change in this whole episode. One word, completely different conversation.
And step 4, aim at the idea and leave the door open. Here's what to do. Phrase your disagreement as being about the idea, not the person, and end in a way that invites them to respond. I see it a bit differently. What do you think? Why does this work? Because "you're wrong" makes people defend themselves, while "I see it differently" invites them to compare views with you, and leaving the door open turns a confrontation into a conversation. For example, "I'm not sure I agree, but I might be missing something. How do you see it?" A common mistake is treating disagreement as something you win. You're not trying to win. You're trying to be understood. And if you can't agree, you can always agree to disagree.
4 steps. Soft opener, say one true thing, swap the but, and aim at the idea with the door open. That's a complete, kind system.
And notice not one of those steps asks you to be softer about what you actually believe. Your opinion stays exactly as strong as it was. You're just carrying it more carefully.
Carrying it more carefully. Beautiful. Okay, peak performers, it's time for everyone's favorite part, the extended vocabulary corner. 5 powerful words and phrases from today, with examples from both of us. Mia, word 1.
Word number 1, disagree. To disagree means to have a different opinion from someone. Simple, but so important. And notice, it's not a rude word by itself. Leo, give us an example.
Sure. I disagree with that idea, but I understand why you like it.
And mine, it's completely fine to disagree as long as you're kind about it.
Word number 2, point of view. Your point of view is the way you see or think about something, your personal angle on it.
My example, I hadn't thought about it from your point of view.
And mine, from my point of view, we should wait a little longer.
Word number 3, a very useful one, however. However means but, except softer and more polite. It adds a different idea without erasing what came before.
My example, I really like the plan. However, I do have one small question.
And mine, she was tired. However, she still finished the whole thing.
Word number 4, convince. To convince someone means to make them believe or agree with you.
My example, he tried to convince me, but I still see it differently.
And mine, you don't have to convince everyone, you just have to be honest.
And word number 5, a warm B2 idiom, to see eye to eye. If you see eye to eye with someone, you agree with them completely. And it's often used in the negative, we don't see eye to eye.
My example, my brother and I don't see eye to eye about music, and we never will.
And mine, we don't always see eye to eye, but we always respect each other.
5 powerful words: disagree, point of view, however, convince, and see eye to eye. Use even one this week, and it's yours forever.
And here's a little challenge that's also practice. This week, find one small, safe moment with a friend, a coworker, anyone kind, and disagree out loud, gently, in English. Use a soft opener, then, however. That's it. One tiny, polite disagreement. It'll feel enormous, and it'll take about 4 seconds. That's the whole perspective peak magic. Grow the confidence and the English together.
So here's the big lesson of today, friends. Disagreeing politely is not about having a weaker opinion. It's about carrying a strong opinion carefully, keeping hold of the table while you ask to turn it. A soft opener, one honest agreement, however instead of but, and aiming at the idea instead of the person. That's all it takes. Your view belongs in the conversation, and saying it kindly is a skill, not a risk.
And please be patient and gentle with yourself. The first few times you disagree out loud in English, your heart will beat faster and you might fumble the words. That's completely normal. It's a new muscle, and new muscles shake a little. Start with someone safe. Start with something small. And Leo, about that group last week, I've decided I'm going back, and next time, I'm actually going to say the thing.
No more kitchen debates?
No more undefeated kitchen debates. I'm taking it to the actual room.
And tell us in the comments, have you ever agreed with something out loud when you completely disagreed inside? What did you want to say? Write it in English, mistakes and all. This is the perfect place to practice. We can't wait to read every single one and reply to you.
Subscribe, hit the bell, and start thinking deeper while you see higher. Keep learning, keep growing.
See you next week on Perspective Peak.
Perspective peak, yeah, we set the pace. Moving to the top, we win the race. We win the race. Perspective peak, start thinking deeper while you see higher.